It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, welcome back to Raid Shadow Legends Champion. Guys, I am your host, Ash. Today we're going to look at Armiger. Yesterday we covered Shield Guard on the channel. Armiger to me is just 1A in terms of the best uncommon champions in the game. Other than Armiger and Shield Guard, personally, I can't really make a strong case to take an uncommon champion all the way past level 50 to 60, but we will review a few other uncommon champions on the channel who I think are noteworthy, especially in Faction Wars, so be on the lookout for those champion guides. But Armiger, man, he's incredible. He's a defense base, Spirit Affinity, Sacred Order, uncommon champion, meaning you can pull him right from mystery shards. I would prioritize getting, an Armiger on every new account because you're going to use this dude in the early, in the mid, and in the end game of Raid Shadow Legends. On his A1, he has attack one enemy, damage again based on defense, decrease the target's turn meter by 30% if the attack is critical. So 100% crit rate is going to be mandatory on this champion. That does also require accuracy. On the A2, attacks one enemy. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived, and if you choose to book this ability out for extra damage, it scales off of defense and enemy max HP, and at level 6, it's a 2-turn cooldown, meaning literally every other turn, you will be getting an enemy max HP hard-hitting ability that ignores revival, I guess. Blocks revival is a better word, and then decreased turn meter every other turn as well. 30% is a large decreased turn meter, especially for an A1 ability. So you can use this guy almost everywhere. Before I show you one of my favorite builds for him, let's talk about where you could be using Armiger, then I'll show you the build and the masteries. So Spider's Den, he's amazing for damage on his A2, and again for turn meter on the Mother Spider on the A1 ability. Fire Knight's Castle, although he doesn't have a multi-hitter, he can help control and keep that shield down with his A1 ability and deal damage in between with his A2 ability. He's not really a clan boss champion. He can do well against Minotaur. Dragon's Lair, he's actually, don't be fooled by this rating, he's actually an easy 5-star for me, provided you're going against a Force Affinity Dragon, right? So he can scale him up for extra damage, more defense, more crit damage on this champion, and he can be a damage carry for Spider, and it's easy, for Dragon's Lair, and it's easy to keep him alive, again, because he's a defense-based champion, okay? Force Keep, sure. Let's see, Arena, not really Arena champion. Faction Wars, absolutely, he's great against the red boss, so fantastic champion to help carry you through that as well. Iron Twins Fortress, fantastic champion. Again, he's got that enemy max HP, fantastic ability, he's got turn meter control as well. Sand Devil, you do have to be careful, but he does have it, a good kit that you can take advantage of. Iron Twins, he works well on an unkillable team around him if you have the other champions to build one. So let's talk about, it didn't have the Doom Tower bosses on there as well, but I really love Armiger against the Scarab King as well. So Scarab King, you'd want to put him in a Destroy set. That way he's actually going to break that shield. So Armiger in Destroy can be a fantastic option for, again, the Scarab King. And last but not least, Ice Golem's Peak. We didn't talk about it, but the Deny Revival on his A2 is perfect against the two guards, the minions of the Ice Golem. That way they don't keep getting revived. So masteries on this champion. There's two ways to build this champion mastery wise. I'm gonna show you kind of both, or I'll talk about the other one. So let me move over here. Offense, we're pretty much going to go down and pick up War Master. We're using this champion mainly against bosses and in PvE content, meaning that, Helm Smasher on this champion isn't really going to be the way to go. Giant Slayer, definitely not the way to go. You could make a case for Flawless Execution to get more damage out of that A2, but really, it's an uncommon champion. The type of damage you're going to get from that A2 is not really comparable to like a Heart Seeker ability on Cold Heart or a takedown on Royal Guard. Either way, it's still a very decent ability for an uncommon. It could deal a lot of damage. Now for the, I build my Armiger like this, guys. I choose defense and I try to prioritize accuracy from my artifacts, but there's nothing wrong with going support tree as well in this champion. So the reason I love defense tree is because I can pick up Cycle of Revenge. It's nice to keep his turn meter going, keep him fast, but mostly because of Retribution. And you know what? You can make a case for picking up Deterrence as well, depending on where you're using him. But getting those counterattacks, Retribution, and Deterrence off of that A1 is just taking more advantage of that hard-hitting A1 with more turn meter control. So I like counterattacks on somebody who has a really good amount of turn meter control, in this case 30% on their A1 ability. Now, if you went support tree, I would definitely go with pinpoint accuracy. I would go with charge focus. I would come down and pick up a swarm smiter. I'd probably go Lore of Steel depending on what artifacts I had on him. If I had a destroy set, probably not, but otherwise probably yes. And then I would go Eagle Eye and probably end off at, well, Master Hexer's not going to do much. I'd end off on like Spirit Haste on this champion because you can't take advantage of Master Hexer or Sniper on Armiger. So that's how I would build him at mastery-wise. In terms of his artifacts and stat priorities, obviously crit rate is going to be mandatory on this champion. I would put crit rate as the #1 priority to get to 100%. After that, I would prioritize accuracy secondarily and defense. So defense percentage, accuracy, and crit rate are going to be your best friends with Armiger. After that, I would prioritize crit damage and HP to help keep him alive and maximize the damage out of that A2. On this particular build, it's definitely not a max out your damage type of build. It's rather make sure that we have enough accuracy, which generally should be 10 to 12 accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you're going against if you're new to the game. I try to go, you know, this is an endgame accuracy build. 413 is usually going to be able to land his turn meter control off of that A1. And again, that's a highlight of his kit, provided it's a critical hit. But after that, you want to go defense percentage on your chest piece. You ideally probably want to go with speed on your boots. And you want to go with either crit rate or crit damage on your gauntlets. Now, again, if you can get crit damage on your gauntlets and find the crit rate in the substats of your other artifacts, it's really going to ramp up that damage. So if you want to scale more towards the end game for a damage build, go with crit damage on the gauntlets. Otherwise, crit rate is absolutely fine. So you'll see here, I have a triple perception set on my Armiger. I love perception. I think it's one of the strongest sets in the game, and it suits this champion very well. It gives him a little boost on speed, and it gives him a whopping 120 accuracy with a triple set on him. That's very helpful because, again, we really want to be landing that turn meter off of the A1 ability. You can also go with defense sets or even a lifesteal set to help keep him alive. There's really no wrong way to build this champion. It just depends on how you're going to be using him. So we talked about destroy, we talked about defense. You know, those would be the main, perception would be the main sets I would consider on this champion. I went with accuracy on the banner. You can also go with defense if you don't need, if you have enough accuracy, especially if you went support tree, no reason that you wouldn't want to go with defense or accuracy on the banner. Crit damage or well, in this case I have HP because I guess he was a little squishy, but I would recommend going with critical damage on your amulet here. So do as I say, not as I do. And then I went HP with a double roll of defense on the ring. So again, I had to keep him alive. Wherever I was using him last, he was a little bit shy on his HP, so I had to build him with HP accessories. So there you have it, guys. That is a quick 10-minute Armiger build. Again, in my opinion, the best uncommon champion in the game. Go ahead and subscribe for more champion builds on a daily basis here on Raid Champion Builds. Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, take care.